So this is our 41st episode of the year. I think last week was the first time we've had to cancel a show this year. I think we'll have to check on that, but
I think it's the first.
well, yeah, I think that was the first time we had to cancel this year, but we'll get into that. We'll get in why we had to cancel that and why my Wednesday night last week was pretty bad. Talk about Las Vegas came and went.
Oof.
Lots to unpack there. And we're gonna unveil the Wednesday night dash schedule, which we were supposed to do last week, but we're gonna do this week. This is FR
Woohoo.
Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Fluck.
I'm Eric Richardson.
And so we had a very short window to record last week. Eric was on the road for a couple days. We're gonna record Wednesday night, and I get home from work. I was already dealing with a little bit of food poisoning from the night before. Not great, not terrible. But then I get home from work early because I get a call that my kid threw up at school. And that was my second child who has thrown up this week. My wife threw up on Tuesday night. And I'm
Ooh.
just counting down until I was next. And it just so happened to happen Wednesday afternoon. While with food poisoning, I get the flu.
That's a great combination.
Flu with food poisoning. I couldn't even lie on my side without throwing up. I know it's kind of graphic, but I couldn't even lie on my side without throwing up. Like I'd lie on my back and then I'd like adjust. I turn to the side and I'd throw up. And I probably threw up like a dozen times between
Ooh.
like 3 and 6 o'clock. And my wife's like said I was just not all there. And she took my temperature. My temperature was like 103.2 or something like that. She reached down for my Apple Watch and put the heart rate monitor on. My resting heart rate after sleeping for 2 hours and throwing up in between was pushing 140.
It's like a
And
workout.
yeah, it was a workout. I'm just not all there. And she's like, I'm calling 911. And she called 911. And so I somehow worked my way upstairs to my bed. And I kind of remember her on the phone talking to 911, talking to the paramedics. And I'm just like, no, no. So like 4 minutes later, there's like 5 paramedics surrounding me. And they're doing vitals and they're checking me out. And they gave me some Zofran, which kind of turned things around for me. Like once that stopped, I was like, okay, I can go to sleep now at least. But they're like, yeah, we're kind of 50-50 on if you should go to the hospital or not. And but apparently I was coherent enough to go, no, I'm not going to the hospital. So
Good.
yeah, so I didn't go. And we got a cat on.
Yeah. We got a special guest.
So I spent the next couple of days kind of bouncing back from that. And that sucked. Never had 911 called on me before.
Yeah,
I've
I've only
called
had one ambulance ride.
I've called 911 for car wrecks, like witnessing car wrecks or being in a car wreck where, I wasn't injured, but I called 911.
Yeah, I've done that.
But what was your ambulance ride?
Um, when I was sliding skeleton in Lake Placid.
Oh, no, no kidding. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, that one wasn't too fun.
Yikes. I bet that ambulance crew goes out to Lake Placid quite a bit to that facility.
Oh, I bet.
They probably have like a delivery. It's like, their milk run where it's like, all right, we're just gonna swing by Lake Placid's, bobsled skeleton luge facility today and see if anybody needs a ride to the hospital.
Yeah, I ended up getting cleared. I was back on track just a couple days later.
So I don't think we've really ever talked about this before, but you trained with the U.S. Olympic skeleton team or
I don't know if
to be trained.
training. I'd put it more. I was there, and I was sliding with Olympic hopefuls at the time that later did become Olympians.
You're trying. I mean, you were trying to make
Yeah,
this.
I was trying to learn and develop. It's a brand new sport. It's not like you can just go down the street and
This
slide head first at 60, 70 plus miles an hour.
with just a sled,
Yeah,
basically.
and a helmet.
It's yeah, yeah. You're basically a torpedo down an ice tube, not even a tube. It's like,
Yeah, it was fun though.
bobsled is like, at least you're in the sled. You got somebody driving it. You got somebody running the brakes in the back. Uh,
Skeleton's actually the safest of the three sliding sports. Believe it
really?
or not.
I would have
You
never
have such
guessed.
a lower center of gravity,
I would have
and you're
guessed
spread out.
on the fact you're going head first is the but then again, there was the issue in the Olympics years back where or there was an event, I don't know if it's the actual Olympics, where a bobsled team was decapitated when a sled flipped. Really,
Not sure about that one.
yeah, gruesome stuff here. I'm pretty sure that happened. I
Yeah, bobsleds are a little bit more just because they're so top heavy. Great Disney movie, by the way. Cool
yeah,
Runnings.
yeah, they weren't I mean, they look like they might have been decapitated. Uh
Some really crashes, but they walk away.
but yeah, there's yeah, the in 1966 near Lake Placid, the world champion Italian driver Sergio Zardini was decapitated.
Hmm.
So okay, so it was many years ago, but it happened. See, I was a little off on the prediction on a few years back. I mean, that's many years back.
Safety's come a long way since then too.
That yes, that is true. I mean, you could say the same thing about auto racing in general. I mean, you look at Le Mans in the 1960s, like the 1950s, 1960s. That was like peak death period for Le Mans. Like you look through it, it's just like if somebody didn't die at Le Mans, like that was unusual for that time. And then finally, like I mean, it's been some years since there's been a death at Le Mans. I'm looking now.
Not how I
Uh,
normally start a show here, but
yeah, yeah, well, really gruesome here. Yeah, so
sports history.
yeah,
You
so
like it?
here, here's the
Not the bad
1950s.
parts, the history.
So these are the races with the death starting with the 1950s: 51, 53, 55, which has the 1955 Le Mans disaster. 56, 58, 63, 65, 66, 67, 69. Another one on 69 was the a test session, and then there was one on the actual in 69, 72, 76, 81. Yeah, I mean, it's just there were a lot of deaths in the 60s and 70s. 2013 was the last time there was a death. 10
It
minutes
just speaks a
in.
lot to the advancements in driver safety and car safety. It's really amazing just what it's done even in the last 20 years.
Well, and the other thing too is like a lot of these were, drivers went over guardrails and crashed into trees, and it's like they've redesigned the track or taken the trees out, or yeah,
They have
that
catch fences now,
yeah.
not just a foot and a half tall guardrail.
Or you look in, IndyCar and NASCAR with the safer barriers. That's made a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Tony George, who gets a lot of criticism, I mean, he was the one who put money into that. I think it was the death of Scott Brayton in the mid '90s at Indy kind of spearheaded that, and I think it was the University of Nebraska he worked with, and they essentially funded the research for the safer barrier. Now it's a standard everywhere.
Well, and even our NASCAR champion, Ryan Blaney, was critical about Nashville not having safer barriers on the inside wall.
Oh, and he took that huge hit
Man,
there.
he had a bad hit.
But it's like, they rebuild North Wilkesboro, which is that track basically closed pre-safer barrier. And what are they doing after they get the track ready? They're putting the safer barrier in.
And if you're not sure about the safer barrier, is the steel and foam energy reduction barrier.
Yes.
Safer.
And it's not like the styrofoam barrier that they tried to test with and Zari Line Dyke, I think, in Indianapolis.
In the IROC race.
Yeah.
Just exploded and made the crash look 10 times worse. And it was bad, but
it cushioned the crash.
Made it worse.
It just took like an hour to clean up all the styrofoam that exploded everywhere around the track. But hey, it's innovation.
Safer barrier is cool.
That's probably the most important safety innovation in motorsports in the last, long time. So, was there a Formula One race over the weekend?
Yeah, there was actually.
There was? Oh, I wonder where that was. Oh, it did involve
I think Vegas.
Yeah, was it? Oh, I heard it was I thought it was a circus because I heard Max Verstappen say stuff about looking like clowns.
Yeah, I think that was also reference to the Hunger Games.
Yeah, there was. It's and it's funny too. People are giving Max a lot of crap because he spent the whole week ripping the place, and rightfully so. Like he was ripping the event and the practice session.
Start with the race first, or do we talk about the event first?
We gotta do the drama in the event.
Oh, there guest appearance again by my cat.
Well, we gotta talk about the event because that's
man.
That's like 75% of the story. I mean, the race was great. Don't get me wrong. I was planning on walking away about halfway through to go like get ready for bed. And I was glued to the TV the entire time. And the next thing I know, it's over and it's 1 a.m. I'm like, crap. But
so I think we covered a lot of the buildup.
Yeah.
We're up to kind of the week of race now, aren't we?
Yeah. Yep. So event shows up. They're on Wednesday. They have this opening ceremony, and they have Kylie Minogue play and 30 Seconds to Mars and John Legend, and then they introduce the drivers.
They're being lifted on like elevators.
Yeah, they're on these like platforms, and then they like lower them into the ground. And Max, that's his we look like clowns standing out here. It got off to a interesting start. You can tell these drivers do not like these special intros and all the theatrics associated with it, but it's like
I think they could maybe deal with it if it was Monaco.
Yeah, I mean Monaco has like the tradition behind it at least. Vegas is just, it's the entertainment capital of the world.
I like how the stat on the race, previous race winners at Vegas, was it 61 and 62 or 81?
70s. It was like 81.
It was so long ago. I don't remember.
And it was in the outdoor parking lot of Caesar's Palace that was turned into like a 2-mile track
that looked like fingers.
Yeah, and nobody showed up to it, so it was canceled after a couple of years. And Thursday, it's freezing cold. You get the quote from Ross Brawn, who is a brilliant guy. Like he was behind the Brawn GP team, and he was the technical guy at Ferrari for all those the peak Schumacher years. Obviously a brilliant guy with the car, but as the head of the competition committee or whatever his title is now, made some quote about they didn't think about what the temperature would be when they scheduled Las Vegas at night in November.
You're in a desert.
What was it? The second or third coldest event?
I think it ended up being a little warmer than they were predicting, but Canada was still the coldest. And I think it was either second or third. And I haven't seen the official race temperature on it.
You could see coming out during FP1 on Thursday that there was some hesitation by the drivers because they just, brand new track, recently paved. There's no rubber on the ground. It's cold. And we get 8 minutes in, and a weld breaks on a water manhole cover and it explodes off into the bottom of Carlos Sainz's car. Does $2 million in damage to his car, 1.5 to 2 million, depending on who you ask. And he got a 10th place grid penalty.
Because they changed parts, and FIA said, well, there's nothing that we can do about it.
There's also the rumor that, well, I think Mercedes may have admitted it, but they said that, hey, that's the rule. That's the rule. So, I mean, it is the rule. It's a stupid rule. It's not his fault. He didn't wreck the car. Your track fell apart.
When the track causes the damage, there should be an exception for that.
Yes, I agree.
Now, if he hit the wall and they wanted to change parts because of it, that's on them.
But no, he drove over a city street, what he was supposed to be doing. Destroyed his bottom of his car.
He's probably lucky it just didn't kick the car into a wall.
Or come through the bottom of the car and hit him or something like that. Yeah. But I mean, it's just, have you seen the video of him driving over that from like people? Yeah, it just looks like there's an explosion under him. Somebody thought he blew his engine. Well, I guess he kind of did, but not as, not because of why we thought at first. So FP1 gets shut down after about 8 minutes. Been a couple hours, and they basically do you see what they did? They just basically took pothole patch and just put it over it like it was a pothole. And then FP2 got delayed. Got pushed out till about 2:30 a.m. Vegas time, and they have FP2, but they kicked everybody out. Well, the few people that had stuck around got kicked out of the stands because of either something to do with staffing or that they were having to open roads back up. I don't know what the official
I thought I heard staffing, that they didn't have enough security, and
yeah, I heard that.
They kicked everybody out.
And then they said no refunds to the people. Then they said, oh, well, if you had a 1-day pass and you came for Thursday, we'll give you a $200 merchandise credit to the shop.
Which you still have to pay shipping and handling.
And class action lawsuit was filed, by the way.
Yes, on behalf of the fans.
But I guess I think I heard that they're giving refunds, which you have to.
Yeah, you kind of need to.
The event didn't happen. You have to give a refund. It's like, even if it rained out, even if there was lightning, they reschedule it. But in this case they didn't, so they have to refund you. And they asked Max, who was filter off, and said, hey, Max. And they said that they weren't giving a refund. Oh, and their statement basically said, it happens. Response. Very very empathetic response from the committee. But Max man, if I was
great start,
because if I was a fan, I'd be ripping that place apart right now. Man of the people.
I think Max had about 24 kind of
zingers
quips.
He had some really good zingers this weekend, but people are giving him crap for spending the whole weekend ripping him apart, and then he wins the race and his tune completely changes, and just we'll get into that in a second.
He's right and wrong. I think it's fair that he can criticize and point things out. Maybe you shouldn't because you're in the series, but good for him.
Friday comes along. FP3 is relatively uneventful. Both McLarens end up out in Q1. Both Williams end up in Q3 for the first time in 6 or 7 years. Alonso and Lewis Hamilton both missed Q3. And so you got a 1-2 from Ferrari coming out of there, but Carlos Sainz got his 10-place grid penalty as a result of the exploding manhole cover. So and
Yeah, that's wild.
this is just Friday. Like we haven't even hit the race yet. So Saturday comes along, and I don't know if you saw this, but they brought out Bruce Buffer, UFC announcer,
Yep.
and they're doing the introductions and like Checo. I didn't see the actual clip. I walked away because I'm like, this is cringy, and I need a beer. And I walked away, but I guess Checo was like, "Where do I go now?" or something like that, or am I done? Something to that
Let
extent.
me go.
But the best part though, leading up to the race, they did a driver parade where they put them in the back of these like old convertibles, and Oscar Piastri's car just starts leaking oil all over the track like an hour before the race is supposed to start. And so they're frantically there, like dumping the quick dry onto the track and trying to sweep up all the oil. And it was, it wasn't the racing line that where the oil was, but it's just like, oh my God, what next? And the race still hasn't started at this point. But we're now at race time. Max gets a 5-second penalty for shoving Leclerc off the track, way off the track. I think somebody made an illustration where they put like 5 Red Bulls in the space where like, Max from the white line from where Max like actually ended up. Got his 5-second penalty and made his comment of like, oh, that's okay. Give him my regards or something like that.
Yeah, I like how they were
He was just
talking about it during the race of that penalty at the time almost was not a penalty.
It was like, yeah, it was give up the place. And then it's like, okay, so maybe he's not going to run away with this one. But also on the opening laps, Alonso goes for a move, has no grip, spins himself out. Checo loses his front wing. Where have we heard that one before? That wasn't his fault.
Sainz spun.
Sainz spun. Valtteri Bottas, I think, went into Alonso twice. Like, first one was off the crash, but I think he gave him a second little tap.
And I think he got tapped from behind too.
Yeah, it was a mess. I mean, there's just no grip on those in that opening lap. But then, man, Lando Norris, 5 laps in?
See, he ended up bottoming out and it just kicked his car around.
Yeah, and he just went for a ride and took a pretty big hit.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it as I came in with about 17 laps to go after getting back from the trip I was on. So I'm like, yeah, it's 17 to go. I'll just watch it. And I heard him mention like Norris at a hospital. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was purely precautionary.
That's a pretty good hit.
And he posted on his social media later of him giving the like I'm okay sign. And it looks like the 0 with the fingers up, like I'm okay, which is offensive in some countries, but that's another story. But there's this meme going around that says, how much money does Lando Norris have left after having to pay for the American healthcare system? 0. Anyway, you have Max with his penalty. He had to take his 5-second penalty on a stop, falls to 9th. Checo's leading the race. Leclerc's leading the race.
That group that had to pit early with damage actually ended up benefiting.
Yeah, they did. And Max came back, caught Checo, caught Leclerc. And then Checo caught Leclerc, and Leclerc's running 3rd. We're down to the final lap. And then out of nowhere, Leclerc passes Checo.
That was a great move.
It was. He just came out of nowhere. I swear he was like a second back not that long ago. And then here he is. Turn 14 coming off the strip. That was a great place to pass. A lot of good passes through that area over the weekend.
Yeah, the race itself I was actually surprised with. considering the track looks like an upside down pig.
And it was freezing. There's no grip.
I was surprised to see how close everything was running and that it was fairly competitive, although it did basically look like it was a very long DRS train.
At points it was, yeah.
Has been one of the criticisms of some of the races where you just can't move because every car's in DRS.
I don't know what the official passing count was, but Lewis had a puncture when he got into Piastri, but he still managed to get back to 7th. George Russell got a 5-second penalty for, I think, bumping into Max. Oh yeah, and Max even got into a little scuffle with George Russell.
Yeah, some were saying Max, like, he was in the wrong, shouldn't have done it. Russell was like, yeah, I didn't look at my mirror.
But yeah, that was like, Max was like really jolly after that. And it's like, he was so angry the whole weekend, and rightfully so. And then all of a sudden,
he's just glad to be done. It's like,
he's singing Viva Las Vegas. And honestly, though, I think it was more he was challenged. He really had to earn that win, and he has not been really challenged much this year.
Well, how many races do we watch where
it's like 30 seconds in?
Well, and he's watching on the video boards as he goes around the track. Like, he knows what's going on because he's watching the race.
I mean, he had to work his way up from 9th. He had a penalty. He got into it with George Russell, had a little bit of damage. I mean, he only won by...
This is only a couple seconds.
It wasn't even a couple seconds. I think it was
those guys were right there behind him. At most it was 2. But
I'm pretty sure it was under a second. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It was 2.07 seconds. It was about 0.3 of a second between Leclerc and Perez. But yeah, and Ocon finished 4th. Lance Stroll 5th. Sainz 6th, who started 12th and spun.
Yeah, wild order of finish.
Hamilton 7th, Russell 8th. Russell had a 5-second penalty that pushed him down to 8th.
And we found that Williams and Haas could qualify, but did not have race pace.
Nope. They're overheating the tires. Piastri,
that's what 10th. I found interesting too. A lot of the cars ended up overheating and having temperature issues. One thing that was really fun to watch, though, was the fastest laps. At the beginning, they're running 139s,
140,
138. And then as you start getting to the end, they start dropping down 134s. That just goes to show they got some rubber built up. And
Piastri got the fastest lap, 135, 490.
Yeah, they were starting to get them.
All right, we have Abu Dhabi this weekend.
No repeat of last lap pass championship on the line.
No, there's really nothing going on here. I mean, the only thing that's going on here is that Ferrari is only 4 points back on Mercedes for second in the constructors, and that's, I mean, outside of some random placing, it's really about it.
I guess you have the other thing, Max Verstappen's super license renewal just keeps getting more and more expensive.
Yes, it does. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Oh, and then I did like the stuff on social media. I paid $5,000 for these seats, and you can barely see the track.
Yeah, you saw like half the fence.
Spectator viewing has something to be desired.
Yeah, and then they were putting up like curtains to block the view, and people are ripping down the screens and trying to climb up, and someone put a video of like one of the pedestrian bridges, and people are like stopping, and the security's like, nope, keep walking. It's just, yeah, they need to work on the logistics of the fan experience. And I hope they learn their lesson, but something tells me they won't.
Probably not.
Like, price this thing better. Like, just price it better. If you price it more competitively, like, I know that's not what they wanted. They didn't want real fans there. They wanted the high rollers flying in from around the world, like Monaco, and fill it full of high rollers, and they didn't get that. They had to frantically sell tickets at the last second for fractions of what they were hoping for. Hotel rooms were below what the typical average for this time of year should have been because they essentially tanked demand. I mean, I was considering going, and then I saw how much they were charging. I'm like, nope, not going.
Yeah, we would have looked at going out there and finding a way to make it work, and then prices come up. Nope.
Yep. But next year, middle of October, should be a little warmer. Maybe they'll think twice about pricing, but I doubt it. We'll see.
I did just read something. I guess Chase Carey during the grid walk let slip that they're maybe looking at New York City.
Yeah, I heard that. It's like, what are you can't put 4 races in the US. Like, you shouldn't have 3 anyway.
This article is looking like maybe taking away Texas.
You can't take COTA away. You can't take that COTA away.
It's such a better track than Miami and Vegas. Although Vegas made it competitive.
Like, they need to
going to put it in
COTA.
New York.
Like,
I guess they saw what happened in Chicago and like, hey, this is a great idea.
Let's go to New York. Like,
no.
Logistically, going through New York, you can't do it. Like, it's so small.
You're going to race through Times Square. That's going to be your goal. Good luck.
Could you imagine shutting down Times Square? I mean, they do it for New Year's Eve, but could you imagine shutting that down for like an entire week and shutting down like a 5-mile?
Not even just a week. Think about all the repaving and construction that you'll have to do.
Oh, God.
There's no way.
I don't think you can logistically make that happen.
Stay at COTA and get rid of the other US dates.
Stay at COTA. And if you want to have another US date, go to like Laguna Seca, go to Watkins Glen.
Ooh, Laguna would be fun in F1.
Could you imagine those giant cars trying to go through the corkscrew?
How about Road America?
Have they had a Formula One race at Road America?
I don't know. Road Atlanta could be a fun one too.
I think IndyCar should go to Road Atlanta.
Speaking of that, I should take a IndyCar on iRacing to Road Atlanta, see how it drives.
I just went to Road America's website. I was trying to Google Road America, and then I got information about how to get into Road America's shareholder meeting. How do you become a shareholder of Road America? I want to know.
You can buy in, be a part owner now?
Yeah, I'll buy into Road America. Interesting.
So Formula One, are they going to be back next year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're already opening up ticket pre-sale for next year.
Do they change anything?
I don't know if they changed the course. I don't think the course is really the problem.
No, I mean, course
other than the
better
manhole cover. I think the course temperature. Is fine. I think they need to fix the fan experience and not start it so late. Like, you don't need to wait till.
Yeah, you shut off basically the east coast of the U.S. for all of it.
I don't think the TV ratings were that good. I mean, they put it on ESPN, not ABC. And they started at 1 a.m. Eastern on a Sunday morning. Let's see. IMSA Xfinity GT World Challenge. Nope, Formula One is never. It's an FIA grade 2, so they wouldn't even be able to go there. Yeah, they'd have to upgrade.
Probably the whole paddock area would have to be redone.
I would assume so, yeah.
Do we dive into, at least briefly, the other big news in motorsports?
Are you talking about motorsport games or something else?
Yes, motorsport games.
Yeah. What do we tell you? Motorsport games, IndyCar game is officially done. And not
Because
by
they
done completed, I
fired
mean
they
in the
fired
trash
the
can.
entire development team. Well, I guess not fired. They let him go because they have no money.
They're broke. And they're
But
like,
I
well,
think
we're figuring out ways to complete this. I'm like, how are you supposed to complete it if you lay off your entire development team?
I think we can probably go back, and I'm pretty sure we said this would happen when it was kind of announced.
Yes, indeed.
Nobody is surprised.
So in IndyCar is trying to figure out what to do. iRacing's made a comment of it would take a couple years for a game to come out on console. I don't care. Like they need a presence somewhere in the gaming industry. So they need to give iRacing the old license back. Like who cares if they get the console?
Yeah, let the sim come back.
Put the NTT logos back up there. Let them broadcast races. Let them do the iRacing Indy 500. Let them put, call it the NTT IndyCar Series again, not US Open Wheel Class B and C. Let them go to the actual courses that they have in iRacing. That's a good start. After that, I don't give a crap.
I thought it would be, if you want to make the console game, then you can alternate stuff. Develop your NASCAR game, then develop the IndyCar. Then if you have a 2-3 year cycle, you can get a 4-year cycle on a game before you need to really make big updates.
Especially with, how you can patch it now.
Because you don't need Madden 98, Madden 99, Madden 2000, Madden 1.
I mean, you were basically paying for patching and reskins.
Yeah, like all the Madden games and stuff like that. It's the same game, just reskinned.
Maybe a new track. It's funny looking at NASCAR 98 and some of the tracks in there, and it's like, what is this track?
All the fake tracks they made.
Yeah.
Some of them were awesome.
I didn't even remember until I bought NASCAR 98 and put it in a PlayStation. I was like, what is this track? I mean, there's some in there that they don't call them. Isn't Suzuka in there or something like that?
I think so. I forget what it was, but there's one road course I really liked. I think if we went back with the iRacing system, I'd probably have like a 10-lap race with 100X because of all the off tracks I would do.
Oh, man. He had Betty Parsons. Hey, buddy, you're going the wrong way.
Can you imagine the incident count? Like what we used to do, paintball mode at Bristol.
Oh, yeah. I would like that now where like you're messing up and you in iRacing and you get like Benny Parsons popping in. Hey, buddy, you're going the wrong way.
Now, here you go. 13th week ridiculousness. Let's go short track racing and put in paintball mode. It would just be awesome.
Oh, so we're crossing our fingers. We don't have a BCD schedule yet, but
yeah, we have a couple in the works. Trying to give it just enough time to see what is going to happen here. Because if we see that there is a green light that races can be broadcast, we want to bring.
We're moving quickly
behind closed doors to your viewing pleasure from a TV perspective, because not the in-car.
Yeah, because it's been great. And the fact you can't see it beyond one person's car if they're not involved. Yeah, you're missing out. I've had a lot of fun. I'm glad I've been able to make time for it. So we'll figure that out.
I've had a blast in that series and be able to go back and watch these races. They are wheel to wheel.
And then speaking of schedules, though, we do have Wednesday night dash schedule here.
And we got an announcement, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Oh, let's put it up there.
All right. So let's go through the Wednesday night dash. 10 races, one road course. Our short track week. I mean, what do we count? I mean, we do have Bristol in there. We've got Richmond. Those are our short tracks. So
Richmond's almost like an intermediate.
Yeah.
I'm excited for our season opener, though. It's a new venue.
We have not raced here before.
No.
We are opening the season January 10th at Rockingham.
Going to the Rock.
The Rock, North Carolina Speedway. So the Rock, which has been trying to finagle their way back into the NASCAR schedule, we're going to do week 1 there, January 10th.
Fun fact, I have been there. It is in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, and they have a rock out front with names engraved on it.
I mean, can't you say that about like every racetrack in North Carolina? It's like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, North Wilkesboro, Concord Speedway, the Lake Concord Speedway. I mean, even Charlotte Motor Speedway is a little out there.
It's out there.
Week 2, January 17th, Richmond Raceway. We have not done a race at Richmond either.
Another new debut.
January 24th will be our super speedway visit to Talladega. Always a lot of fun at Talladega. As long as you don't get caught up.
I enjoy Talladega.
As do I. We mentioned Bristol will be January 31st. We're going to go under the lights because Bristol's better at night. I don't care what we say. Don't need dirt. We just need lights.
Yep. No more dirt race next year.
That's true. February 7th, back to Phoenix Raceway. Running during the day there.
Little change up there.
Yep. It's not our finale, so we are going to do the middle of the season during the day, Phoenix Raceway. And then Eric's favorite week, which he will conveniently not be in attendance for, February 21st.
Yeah, I am busy.
We're skipping Valentine's Day week because you need a week of practice and our significant others, Valentine's Day, we're going to the Roval.
Yes.
We are going to the Roval. I
will be watching on Stadium Scene TV.
The Roval. February 28th, we're heading to an oval at Indianapolis.
It is coming back this year. I am hoping to be in attendance.
And we did the oval 2022 spring in the next gen car.
That was on the old track, wasn't it?
It was on the old track. It was before the rescan. So we'll be on the new scan of Indianapolis for that one. And then March 6th, everybody's favorite track, Texas Motor Speedway. We'll be on the new config. That'll be slipping and sliding, going around that mess of a track.
Yeah, fun, greasy track. Should add some chaos into the schedule there.
Then March 13th, we have not done a next-gen race here, but we have done an ARCA race last year at the Monster Mile of Dover.
That's actually a really fun race.
I think with the next-gen, it just, even though it's a mile, it feels bigger.
Feels like a speedway.
It really does. And then we'll be closing out the 10-race season under the lights at Kansas Speedway.
Kansas has been a havoc wrecker in the playoffs.
That's been a lot of fun, too. Like, it got criticized pretty heavily for being a generic 1.5 mile. And it's been a lot of fun. It's got that high line that a lot of people like to race on. And I think that'll be a good way to close out the season on March 20th. So January 10th to March 20th, we're going to go over 2 months in this season.
It'll be fun to see how that one plays out because a lot of people like to run the high line, but a equal number like to run that bottom. So
So
we'll see which one carries speed.
Hunter Hughes is confirmed he'll be back in the booth for this season, and might be working on a man, I need to stop coughing. A trying to get a color commentator this season. So if you know anybody, let's talk.
And if certain band gets lifted, we may be looking for another announcer.
Looking for a crew for Tuesday night. So back to back Tuesday and Wednesday night. And there you go. So the first season, I mean, I think we can tell this for the summertime. You know, we're back in the next gen in the winter or spring. And then spring, summer will be
looking at going trucking.
We're going trucking.
And I'm looking forward to that. Getting back to them.
We haven't been in the truck since, we did at least you, me, and Tyler did for Atlanta race in the spring and summer. And we'll be back in the ARCA car in the fall. So, yeah, the GT3 was a fun experiment, but I think we're going to spin that off as its own standalone thing someday. Don't know when, but, we've obviously, we met Ian Miller through that process. I mean, that was a great help, for us. Ian's been awesome coming in, and he's experimented in the oval world, but he's also been doing endurance racing with us. So, obviously had a huge impact for us having Ian come in and finding our GT3 season. But for Wednesday night, it didn't really have the interest that we thought it would.
Yeah, if we could target maybe more to the European side, I think we could get it.
I think if we do it like a Saturday morning thing, do like a Saturday morning sprint or a Sunday morning sprint,
and probably maybe something else to be on the lookout for, not imminently, but some point maybe in 2024 on the SRX series.
Yeah, they got the SRX scan done. Don't know when that'll get released, but we're talking about an SRX league one night. We've experimented with potentially doing a super formula series. So we got a lot of ideas in the works, but what we're trying to do is we got 15 drivers last year into Wednesday Night Dash. We're trying to get that number up to 20 and hold it. And work on making that broadcast better and make the racing good.
It's been a lot of fun so far, both series, BCD and WND. Let's see what we can do. 2024, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, the thing is too with iRacing, I mean, wouldn't risk this, but like the reason they had a broadcast ban is because Motorsport Games has the exclusive license. They don't anymore. What's preventing you from broadcasting it? Like iRacing, I mean, I obviously they could just say it's our term that you can't do that, but the reason they're saying that is because they didn't have the license. I mean, I guess technically they still don't, but I don't know. I feel like this is going to get lifted soon. A lot soon. It almost seems like January 1st, we're going to be like, shoot, we got to find a broadcast team or lock in a broadcast team.
Yeah, we'll be working on some things. Be on the lookout here maybe in the next few weeks. We'll probably have an announcement or two coming along for some other projects.
Yes, we had a meeting today that went really well. Took a turn that I wasn't expecting, but it was good. I think I think we got a fun surprise that we're going to be announcing here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Once we get a few more details finalized, we'll bring that out to you. Maybe even do a special episode of Garage Talk for it.
On that note, one more cough. One more cough for good measure tonight. You can
take
see
a drink every time you cough.
Yeah, drink every time I cough. You can see up here I've got my Hue Play lights. They were mounted to my wall before, but you can see they're now right here, and then there's another one over there. And I have a updated video. I'll update our blog post on the Hue Play lights, but they sync to the iRacing flags. And I realized I can set it to a color when there's no flag on there, and then it'll change the light above my head to the flag color. So when it green's out, green light right above my head. And then it goes back to whatever color I have it set to. And white flag, yellow flag. Pretty sweet.
DJ keeps upgrading all of his stuff. I still have my desk and kitchen table chair.
Yes, but the difference is you're getting better at what you're doing. I'm not.
No, you got a lot better during that Indy season.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
look out for DJ here 2024.
It's like things are starting to click finally. Like I think it's taken a lot longer than it needed to, but it's like I'm getting that comfort level where I'm scrubbing speed going into corners or coming out of corners because I'm afraid I'm going to lose the car, where I'm like, okay, I can push that a little bit more, or I can get back on the throttle now. Or I don't have to come off the throttle as much going into that turn.
Hopefully I don't jinx anything. I'm put it out there. 2024, you're breaking through, first win. One of the series.
Yeah, it's like I've come so close a couple of times now. I gotta.
Yeah, you're there.
I just need an official win. I also need to do some official races.
Yeah, I need to get more into.
I gotta look and see what time's that USF 2000 run.
It's every 2 hours. I think it's gonna be on odd hours now.
Well, we can see.
When daylight savings time hits, I go from even hours to odd hours on the series.
Oh, that's right, because UTC doesn't. No daylight savings in UTC land. Or in UTC format. Where is it? Here we go. USF 2000. Every 2 hours. So for me, it's 5, 7, 9, 11, 1, 3, 5.
I'll be the same then.
So let's see. Let's see how people have done. Good turnout though. 3 splits in the last run.
I got to see how fast I can run in a race.
Let's see. We would have been in this split here. Qualification. Wow. 27,161 for the pole. I could probably end up, as long as I don't eat it, I could probably get into the qualified top 5. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta get in there. Do some USF 2000 and Phoenix Legacy on the oval.
Need to give it a go. I'm sure a lot of people haven't done it. Well, they haven't, but I do have the top time in the time attack.
Well, let's see. Let's see if you still do.
It's up, so maybe somebody's knocked it off.
USF time attack. You are still number 1. I am number 4.
I can hold on for a couple more weeks. That'll be my first top 1.
I'm only about 2/10 off your time. 200s off of world champion status.
Those are all kind of arbitrary because it's broken down in 10% segments.
Yeah.
So it's all based on how many cars run.
It's funny too, looking at the other times. They have 3 times as many people have run the time attack on the Phoenix Oval as they have any other road course. Oh, I guess the Gateway. Only 9 people have run Gateway. You're currently sitting 6th out of 9 in the.
I was first for a while. Then I stopped running it.
Yeah, you didn't do the boot at Watkins Glen?
I've only done a couple of them.
Yeah, Red Bull Ring, Willow Springs, Lime Rock Park Grand Prix.
I think I raced that one.
You did. You were currently say 23rd. Belle
That's a
Isle.
car in that track. I went to the time trial at Belle Isle. That thing is a mess. Like, it is so incredibly bumpy.
Interlagos. Yeah, we get a Super Formula League going. I think that could be a lot of fun. They just need a more options for configs. So right now, there's only
Just the what, 12 that
12.
they ran.
Yeah,
I'm actually not a big fan of that car.
it's different. That's for sure.
There's a big learning curve, and I still got to learn.
It's it's not as bad as that Mercedes Formula One car. That's
I don't know, I'd almost prefer the Mercedes. I felt better in that than the Super Formula.
at least in the Super Formula, you can make it look cool. You don't have to just use the
Yeah.
awkward color schemes.
I think I have the Red Bull Coda livery on mine right now
For the
for the Super Formula.
Oh, nice. I need to pick something for the USF 2000. I don't have. Let's
I have the Ari Leyendyke's Domino's car.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Good choice. His winner from 1990. He lives near me, by the way.
If you ever run across him, invite him to the show.
He posted a photo of him with Max. I'm like, yeah, of course you would. Oh, you do the Kmart Haveline. So Budweiser. Yeah, I got a good choice. I gotta pick something here real quick. Old school Taco Bell colors, that aqua green color they had. On that note, we probably should wrap. One more, I think, in the season. We'll be back next week. Recap the Formula One season. There you go, the Braun GP. I'll just do that. The Braun GP on there. So we'll be back. Close out the year. FRRacingOnline.com and FR Racing Online on social media. And thanks again for tuning in.
And we'll see you next week. Take care.